We're going to move on to soldering the Raspberry Pi to the board. I've made a pin out that has all the pins, because there's a lot of pins on a Raspberry Pi, but we're not going to use all of them, and I think that there's no point in soldering ones that we've got no use for, because then you can 100% focus on the ones that need to be soldered down. I've also used this is quite good for debugging later on. As you can see, we've got the 5 volts, 3 volts ground marked up on here. We've got the screen pins, just in case I have a problem with the screen. We've got the sound pins that are marked up, and then we've got the button pins, because I have found in the past that you'll find that like one button won't work, so that you can quickly go back and just solder the right trace instead of just going over everything again and then potentially making it not work in another area. So you can just go back and it's just good for debugging and stuff like that. Also, I've got a small soldering iron tip here that can actually all fit into a hole. So what you normally do is fill it with solder, and then you'll plunge this in, which it'll it'll heat the like the inside, like the shaft of the pin, so it'll easily, and you can see it like bubbling up, so it'll make it a little bit easier to solder down. So what I normally do is got your board, and you kind of want to line the pins up like this, and then you want to slide it over so you get a good outline, and you can see all the silver under the pads. And then what you want to do is like tap 2 holes, one at the top, one at the bottom. You want to go, you probably use this 5 volt one, and then this bottom pin one here. Obviously, with being ground, the ground on the Raspberry Pi is quite large, and it will soak a lot of heat, so you don't want to kind of use a ground pin right now, because you'll be there forever. You want to kind of leave them to last, that we've soldered everything else, and the kind of board will get a bit of heat in it then. So I'll start with the 5 volts top one, just fill it with solder, and then we'll just let it sit for a few seconds. At this point you can just move it around to make sure it's in the right place. Take it away, make sure it solidifies. You can see a little bit of and then we'll go down to this bottom one. Hit that for a few seconds. And then that should be nicely in place then. Nice and solid. We can just go all over the other ones. Like I say, I'll do everything, all the other ones, and then I'll just use the 2 ground ones. I'll leave them till later. They'll be the last ones to get soldered.